Okay, friends, welcome back to our session of automotive axle classifications. Last time we have seen three classifications of the axle, that is namely according to power transmission, according to steerability, and according to axle arrangement. This time we will see another three categories of axle classification, that is according to axle shaft and housing arrangement, according to assembly construction, and according to number of speeds. Please note that all these three categories are applicable for all the live axles. So whenever we'll speak about these three, all of them are applicable for live axles. Let's move on. So this is according to axle shaft and housing arrangement. First of them is semi-float axle. In this type, a bearing is placed in between the axle shaft and the axle casing. The outer axle shaft is coupled with the wheel hub by using lock nut and the key. So these are the simplified arrangements and simplified diagrams for your understanding. As you can see here, this is the axle shaft which is coming from the central differential gearbox, and to which a wheel hub is attached and it is fixed with the key and the nut. This is the axle casing, and in between the axle shaft and the axle casing a bearing is placed. So let's move on. So here the load distribution, as you can see, the axle shaft alone withstands one, the vehicle weight, two, the vehicle side thrust, and three, it transmits the power to the wheels, that is, it carries the torque. As you can see here in the previous slide, here is the vehicle load, here is the side thrust, and this is the power. So all these three functions are performed by the axle shaft alone in this kind of design. Hence, here shaft is bigger in size as it is taking all loads, but it is simple and cheaper design as compared to other types. Applications. So most of the light vehicles up to 2 ton capacities use this design because it is cheaper. Next category. In the next category, we have full float axles. In this type, two taper roller bearings are placed between the axle housing and the wheel hub. Moreover, the axle shaft is kept inside the axle housing, and at its other end, wheel hub is fitted by using a flange. So as you can see here, this is the axle housing and this is the wheel hub. In between that, two taper roller bearing, one at the inside, one at the outside, is placed, and the axle shaft is attached through a flange to the wheel hub. So here how the load distribution takes place. So here as you can see, the vehicle weight is taken by axle housing, the vehicle side thrust is taken by axle housing, and transmits the power to the wheel or torque that is done by the axle shaft. So let's go back again to the diagram. Here as you can see, the power or the torque transmission is alone done by the shaft to the hub, and this hub and axle housing together take the vehicle weight as well as the side thrust. So here the axle shaft is left with the duty to transfer the power or torque alone. So what are advantages of this design? As the axle shaft transmits the power only to the wheels, the power output is higher. Without removing the wheel and hub, the axle shaft can be removed. If the axle shaft is broken, that time this facility is very helpful. Next is, if the axle shaft is broken, the power transmission only will be stopped and it will not collapse the entire vehicle. and the tire will not get separated from the vehicle. So that is one of the advantages. Applications. Most of the heavy commercial vehicles use this kind of axle arrangement. Let's move on to the next type. This is three-quarter float axle. In this type is a compromise between the full float and semi-float axle. In three-quarter floating rear axle, bearing are on the axle casing and hub. So here you can see the this is the axle housing and this is the hub and the bearing is placed here. So it's a single bearing. How load distribution takes place here? The vehicle weight is taken by axle housing. The vehicle side thrust is taken by axle shaft and power transmission or the torque transmission is taken care by axle shaft. So the axle shaft is relieved from the vehicle weight, but still it takes the side thrust and the torque. The axle shaft do not have to withstand any shearing or bending. It has to take only the end loads and driving torque. Thus, axle background is less in this case compared to semi-float design. Even though it is better than semi-float type, it is not as robust as the full floating since there are not two bearings, there is only a single bearing. So here as you can see the vehicle load through this hub and axle casing is taken care, but the side thrust and the torque transmission is done by the shaft. Application. So these are seldom used in some old type of vehicles, not in use as much in nowadays. So the automotive manufacturers either go for the semi float design or they go for the full float design because three quarter design doesn't give the cost benefit as compared to semi float or even it doesn't give the design advantages as compared to full float. So next classification category is according to assembly construction. So according to assembly construction, there is a split type axle design. In this design, what happens is the axle is splitted into two pieces along its length at the center roughly. There are two halves that are bolted together. So this design is called split type design. This category mainly pertains to the design of the structural member. According to assembly construction is the category which pertains to the design of structural member. The next design category is banjo housing. Here as you can see the entire structural member is made in a single piece assembly or single welded assembly and the drive head is separately drive head or we call this as a differential gearbox which is totally independent separate assembly and this is bolted together with the housing. So this type of design is called as banjo housing design. This is more popular because its weight is light and this is many times made through a sheet formation. The next category is a carrier type or a Salisbury type design where there is a carrier casting, a huge casting at the center and the tubes are pressed from two sides into this carrier and they are welded together through slug welds at the two sides and axle beam is formed. So this design is called as Salisbury design. So let's move to final classification category of our axles and this category is according to number of speeds. There are two categories. One is single speed axle and two speed axle. The single speed axle is like a structural member, as well as it has a differential gearbox, and the power is transmitted through it to the wheels and tires. In the two speed, it is very similar to this, but in that there are two gears arranged. As you can see here, there is one helical gear pair which is engaged here, and this is the selection sleeve which selects the low or high ratio. Here you can see this pinion is the bigger pinion, and this gear is the smaller gear, and here you can see this is the smaller pinion and this gear is the bigger. So this is the low ratio and this is the high ratio. So you can select between the low and high depending upon the load requirements. This type of arrangement is mainly used for a tipper type application where the vehicle is fully loaded or many times it is overloaded, and then you run it into the low gear and you reach to the destination with the load, and when the vehicle is empty and it is returning back, you can select the higher gear ratio. Thereby you can save the fuel because the higher gear will give you the higher road speeds. That is the intention behind this design. So with this we come to the end of our classification of the axles. Thank you friends for watching this.